Yeah. Some people don't ask for help, they just go quiet. So check the quiet ones, mate. There's a house down the end of the road with the curtains pulled halfway tight. Grass grown up round the letterbox, bin's been out since Monday night. Old mate used to wave from the driveway, used to yarn when the rain came through. Now he just leaves the porch light burning like it's got nothing else to do. So I pulled up slow by the front gate, didn't want to make a big scene. Just a knocking at you right, brother, through the fly screen in between. He said, yeah mate, I'm all good, but his voice had lost its wheels. I said, no stress, I'll sit out here, don't have to tell me how it feels. Knock if you need, call if you can, I'll leave a chair out and a light on the stand. You don't have to explain, you don't have to bleed, just don't sit alone mate. Knock if you need, no, knock if you need, no shame in the sound. Sometimes one small knock keeps a bloke on the ground. There's a mum at the servo pump, staring hard at the price going up. Kids in the backseat quiet as rain, one last note in a coffee cup. She smiled like it didn't matter, like she'd mastered the art of fine. But I've seen that look in mirrors before, when the world cuts close to the line. So I paid for 20 in unleaded, said someone did it once for me. She shook her head then laughed through tears, like her chest remembered how to breathe. See, kindness isn't always pretty, ain't always wrapped in gold. Sometimes it's awkward, rough and mumbled by a tired bloke getting old. And maybe I'm no angel, maybe I've been hard to love, but I know what dark roads feel like when the stars don't seem enough. Oh, knock if you need, call if you can, I'll leave a chair out and a light on the stand. You don't have to explain, you don't have to bleed, just don't sit alone mate. Knock if you need, no, knock if you need, no shame in the sound. Sometimes one small knock keeps a bloke on the ground. I won't ask you for the whole damn story, won't ask you to make it neat, won't tell you stay strong champion, then walk back across the street. I'll make tea if that's your thing, or sit quiet if it's not. We can talk about the weather or the whole world going off. No judgment at the doorway, no scoreboard in my hand, just one rough-hearted bastard trying to understand. Old mate opened up that screen door, looked thinner than he used to be. Said, I didn't think you'd notice. I said, mate, that makes two of me. We sat there watching nightfall, not much said for half an hour. Just muzzies near the porch bulb and a storm losing its power. Then he said, I nearly packed it in, voice shaking at the seam. I looked down at my muddy boots, felt the whole world go quiet and lean. I said, brother, I'm glad you didn't, and I meant it like a prayer. Sometimes the strongest bloody thing is letting someone else sit there. So if your roof starts leaking, or your mind gets loud with rain, if the road feels like it's ending, or you can't carry your name, there's a light on near the driveway, there's a chair beneath the eave. Don't vanish in the silence, just knock if you need.
Knock if you need,
Call if you can,
I'll leave a chair out
and a light on the stand.
You don't have to explain, you don't have to bleed,
Just don't sit alone, mate.
knock if you need,
Knock if you need, no shame in the sound.
sometimes one small knock
Keeps a bloke on the ground. Yeah, no speeches, no shame, knock if you need